God in me recognizes when he's moving in my life in such a way that I can embrace, my willingness to give it another shot. I actually pulled my bootstraps up mainly because at the end result of this project, I was like, is that me? It made me feel good.
Angie Stone's passing left an immense hole that words can't quite capture. It was a loss that resonated deeply, and when D'Angelo performed at her funeral, no one expected the powerful and emotional moment that followed. His performance was not simply an act, but a raw outpouring of emotion, heartbreak, and gratitude, all woven together in one unforgettable tribute. As D'Angelo took his place at the piano, the atmosphere in the room shifted. Everyone, from fans to celebrities, felt the weight of the moment. It didn't matter how composed they thought they were. Tears began to fall from every eye in the room.
Details emerged following the fatal crash that has claimed the life of Grammy-nominated R&B artist Angie Stone.
R&B soul singer Angie Stone has died following a car crash. She was on the way to Atlanta following a performance.
In the days following Angie's death, fans and loved ones struggled to grasp the reality. How could someone so vibrant, so full of life, talent, and wisdom be gone in an instant? Angie Stone wasn't just an artist. She was a storyteller who gave a voice to generations through her R&B and soul music. Her voice, deeply rooted in authenticity and raw emotion, was the heart of an era that now felt like it had come to an end. Her death was like losing an entire chapter of music, one that spoke to the heart of the human experience. Social media exploded with tributes as fans shared stories of how Angie's songs had helped them through difficult times, lifted their spirits, and made them feel understood. Industry giants, including Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, and India Arie, publicly mourned her loss, calling her a true icon, a queen, and a voice for the people. Even younger artists like H.E.R. and Janelle Monáe paid their respects, recognizing the profound influence Angie had on their music and careers. Among all of those affected, D'Angelo was hit the hardest. Angie wasn't just a fellow artist. She was a kindred spirit.
The fact that he ventured on waters that had never been treaded, that had been treaded, but in this generation of music, I think that he went far out there. I think that the songwriter might have been able to write some lyrics that we could understand, and he could have performed them where we really could understand. I think for the most part, he's a genius.
They both had a unique connection to soul music that went beyond admiration or respect. D'Angelo's career, particularly in its early years, was greatly shaped by Angie. She was one of the first to recognize his talent, guiding him and mentoring him as he worked to find his sound. She co-wrote songs on his groundbreaking debut album, Brown Sugar, which would go on to define the neo-soul movement. Her influence was in every note, every lyric of his music. Her ability to blend pain with passion and her deep love for classic soul music were woven into the fabric of his artistry. Even as D'Angelo reached his own legendary status, he never forgot the support and guidance Angie provided. To him, she was more than a mentor, she was family. And that is why her passing left such a profound impact. Losing her wasn't just about losing a musical peer, it was the loss of someone who had believed in him from the very beginning. D'Angelo, known for his private nature, didn't make any public statements or post any tributes on social media following Angie's death. In an industry where people quickly turned to social media to express their grief, his silence spoke volumes. Those who knew him understood that this loss was deeply personal. It wasn't just a loss of a friend or a mentor. It was the loss of someone who truly understood him as both an artist and a person. D'Angelo has often used music to process his emotions, retreating from the public eye when life became too overwhelming. This wasn't the first time grief had affected his journey. The death of his grandmother in the early 2000s led him to withdraw from the music scene for years. His battles with addiction and depression were often linked to unresolved pain, and his extended breaks from music were less about perfectionism and more about needing time to heal. This time, his grief seemed to be just as intense. Though the public didn't hear from him, those closest to him suspected that he was working through his pain in the only way he knew how, by turning inward, letting the emotions build up until they found their way into his music. Angie's funeral wasn't just a goodbye. It was a celebration of everything she had contributed to the world, a tribute to the legacy she left behind. The church was packed with family, friends, fellow musicians, and fans who had traveled from all over to honor her life and work. The atmosphere was filled with a heavy yet loving energy. Gospel choirs filled the air with music that spoke both of sorrow and joy, reflecting the depth of the loss, while also celebrating Angie's life, a life full of passion, soul, and a voice that could move mountains. Some of the biggest names in R&B and soul shared their memories of Angie. Jill Scott spoke about how Angie paved the way for artists like her. Erykah Badu reminisced about their close sisterhood in the music industry, and India Ari broke down in tears, calling Angie the backbone of neo-soul. Angie's family shared heartfelt stories, painting a picture of a woman who was not just an artist, but a warm, loving person who poured herself into everything she did. The audience laughed, wiped tears, and nodded along as people shared how Angie's music would live on forever. But there was one moment that stopped everyone in their tracks, a moment that would be etched into everyone's memory forever.
Very serious, and it made me humble myself to him, but he was always trying to teach and show us the right things to do.
When D'Angelo took his seat at the piano, the room fell into complete silence. The weight of the moment was palpable. Everyone could feel that something powerful was about to unfold. As he sat down, D'Angelo's hands hovered over the piano keys, as if he were gathering the strength to play. Then, the first few notes rang out, and the room seemed to hold its breath. D'Angelo's voice cracked slightly as he began to sing, and it was clear he was barely holding it together. But that rawness only made the moment more powerful. His choice of song seemed deeply personal. Some believe he performed Heaven Must Be Like This, a song that perfectly captured the bittersweet feeling of losing someone but also believing they were in a better place. Others thought he may have chosen a song that they had shared during late-night studio sessions, a piece of music filled with memories of their deep bond as artists. Whatever the song choice, it wasn't just a performance. It was as if D'Angelo was having a final conversation with Angie, saying everything he never got the chance to say. Every note, every lyric felt like it was being directed straight to her. D'Angelo's eyes closed, his voice trembled slightly, and his fingers pressed into the piano keys, as if he was trying to hold on to something that was slipping away. It was clear that this wasn't just music, it was his grief, his love, and his soul pouring out. Those in the audience couldn't hold back their emotions. Jill Scott wiped her eyes with a tissue. Erykah Badu kept her head down with her eyes closed, taking in every note, and Angie's family held each other, supporting one another as they listened. Even artists who had experienced countless emotional performances were visibly moved. As softly as the performance had begun, it ended. D'Angelo sat at the piano for a moment, staring at the keys, as if gathering himself before standing up. He didn't say a word. He didn't need to.
Of course, D'Angelo and I were very good friends, but I need for you to know that as wonderful as that friendship has been, it came with a lot of challenges. And I'll tell you the nature of the industry based on a secret that I recently found out from someone who is credible, that let me in on some things that I didn't know even up until lately. And I have to tell you, it was shocking just to find out But in any event, I will share them with you and let you know the devil don't play fair.
The music had said everything. Soon after, the internet exploded. Clips of the performance quickly spread, and fans poured their hearts out in the comments. One person wrote, "I've never seen a performance that raw before. You could feel his pain." Another added, "D'Angelo just gave the most heartbreaking tribute I've ever seen. Angie Stone deserved that love." A third person commented, "This is why we'll never forget Angie Stone. This was soul in its purest form." Other artists shared their emotions as well. Araika Badu posted a black and white photo of Angie with the caption, "Forever our queen." Maxwell shared a simple message, "No words, just love. Rest easy, Angie." Questlove posted a video of Angie performing one of her classic songs, saying, "We lost a legend, but her music will never die." It was clear that this performance wasn't just a tribute, it was a powerful reminder of why music is so powerful. It heals, it connects, and in that church, on that day, it allowed D'Angelo and everyone who loved Angie Stone to say goodbye in the most meaningful way they could. Even though Angie Stone is no longer with us, her impact will never fade. Her music, her voice, and her soul live on in every song she recorded. Whether it's No More Rain, In This Cloud, or Brotha, her music continues to carry the same warmth and wisdom that made it so powerful. Today's artists still carry her influence, whether in the neo-soul scene she helped create or in the R&B music that keeps her legacy alive. Her fingerprints are everywhere. Beyond music, Angie's impact continues in other ways. Tributes continue to pour in, not just from fellow artists, but also from fans and organizations that want to honor her memory. There are talks of a scholarship fund for young musicians in her name, and some artists have suggested creating a tribute album to celebrate her work. These efforts ensure that Angie's legacy will continue to inspire and open doors for future generations of artists, just as she did during her lifetime. D'Angelo, later on, broke his silence with a brief, heartfelt message on social media. "Thank you, music, for the sermon." It was a simple message, but it captured everything: gratitude, grief, and a promise to keep Angie's spirit alive through music. For fans, the best way to honor Angie is to keep her music alive. Revisit her classics, introduce her songs to a new generation, and let her voice continue to echo through time. So what's your favorite Angie Stone song? Drop it in the comments, and let's keep her legacy alive.